do? How we doing? Hey? Hey up, lad. What we saying? Anybody else's black lav have a penchant, posh word, innit, for rotten wood? Always trying to eat rotten wood. I've got to watch him. We're out again, just like buses. 2 in a row. Don't get one for hours, then 2 in a row. Vlogging. Super excited for this one. How do? Bit parky out. Have you heard that one? Bit of a Yorkshire saying, maybe. I don't know. Cold. It's cold. Got the sniffles a bit, so excuse me if I'm sniffing. So, hot off the press. Not quite hot off the Not quite hot off the press. No laughing matter this though, guys. HMP Wandsworth. That's a London nick. This incident I'm going to talk about in a one-off. It's happening everywhere. People are messaging me all the time. Yeah, people getting seriously assaulted, incidents, that staff and prisoners getting assaulted. The Nationals, if you're new to the channel, right, I'm an ex-prison officer. Yeah, the Nationals are prison officers who train constantly to work at high hostage situations, riot situations, or mutinies, whatever you want to call it, or concerted indisciplines. That's where 2 or more prisoners disobey the rules or whatever. Yeah, let's just call them riots, mutinies. Yeah, that's what they train for. The specials, they deal with pyrotechnics, getting into cells, all sorts of things. Yeah, and they fit lads. Half their job is fitness. The other half is dealing with incidents, or quite often they will come into a prison and they will be there in an advisory role. So the prison will have its own staff dealing with something and they'll advise. Now you know where we are, HMP Wandsworth. A lot of these things are alleged or allegedly, because if I'm not there, you know, we didn't know they happened, do we? Unless that is, at HMP Wandsworth, there's some budding reporters, you know, on the wings, prisoners with phones, filming said riot or mutinies with little commentaries. Yeah, TikTok. Not the biggest fan of TikTok. I think it's destroying young people's minds. However, when videos appear, then it sort of puts a bit of context to things, doesn't it? The video I saw was quite long. It was informative. Again, I believe no one was injured. Yeah, so, you know, smiling, hopefully. But there again, I don't know for definitely. Yeah, video on TikTok, HMP Wandsworth. I think it was Tuesday, just gone. This Tuesday. So let's put a bit of context to it. Yeah, like I've said, I'm going to call it a riot or mutiny. So we had some prisoners who were due to be punished or put on punishment. Again, very briefly, there is 3 regimes in prison for prisoners. Yeah, there is standard regime. When you go into prison, you are on standard regime. You'll be in a cell, you'll get a TV and everything else you are entitled to. If you misbehave, you go down a standard to basic regime. Basic is a great word because that's what it is. If you are sentenced prisoner, you'll be in a prison tracksuit, no TV, very little time out of cell, which is everyone nowadays, not just basic prisoners. Yeah? Then we get enhanced prisoners. So if you go into prison, model prisoner, behave, yeah, warning free for a period of time, you can apply for the PlayStation. You know, the one that everyone loses their shit over. But yeah, like I've already said, if I had a prison and every single prisoner had a PlayStation, get in. That's a well-managed, well-behaved prison population. Back to Wandsworth. About 15 lads there or thereabouts getting put on basic regime. We used to do that on K-Wing. We had one landing where we used to have the basic regime prisoners. Then basic regime was hard. We would take everything off them. Very little time out of cell, maybe 2 hours, including their hours exercise. If they went to work, we would allow them out at night. They were locked up at night. They were allowed to get hot water before kettles, a couple at a time, down the landing, get hot water back to the cells. Managed robustly. Not so much around the rest of the prison, but basic regime on K-Wing, when I worked there, it was hardcore. Prisoners didn't like it. You get one or two, maybe mentally unwell, sadly. Didn't make no difference whether they had everything in the world or nothing to them. Like I said, that bit's very sad. So, here's how we used to manage it. Let's say we had a load of lads, maybe assaulted someone, so they're going on basic. One at a time, into the office, the SO would explain. We would escort them back to the cell. They would be closely supervised while they packed. They would then move from their cell down to the twos landing into a cell. At that time, if they were sentenced prisoner, they would be strip searched. We would take their property, prison property. Sometimes they were allowed radios, it depends. TVs, no TVs in the cell. And we were given prison tracksuits. Prisoners hated prison tracksuits. The odd one, yeah, bit of kudos, on basic in a tracksuit. Most of them didn't. They were called corned beef suits because they were the same colour as corned beef. That's what we do. What we wouldn't do on K-Wing is get a load of lads, maybe 15, in the office at the same time. Tell them, you're going on fucking basic, okay? Kick them out of the office, then offer them exercise, and while they're on exercise, remove everything from their cells. Because we had special cells for basics. On normal wings, prisoners would remain in their cell with another basic regime prisoner where possible, and the items would be removed from the cell, so they wouldn't change location, just the TV, clothing and property would be removed. So you see what I'm coming at? So let's just imagine, allegedly, these lads were all put on the yard, and while they were gone, everything was taken from their cells, TVs and that, yeah? Bit underhanded. Prisoners would be pissed at going on basic, yeah? However, fronting them, this is how it is, they wouldn't be happy, but they would appreciate that. You know, a bit of respect, if that's what you want to call it. And I think it was respect. Don't like what's happening, but they'll take it. So they come back in, off exercise, allegedly. TVs have all gone, bit underhand, boom. Yeah, start kicking off. So the staff were told to withdraw from the wing, which they did. Then you've got a mini riot, concerted indiscipline, mutiny, whatever you want to call it. And like I say, some budding journalist has filmed it, yeah? Lads running about, climbing on the netting, rubbish on the netting, you know, some stuff smashed up. Not the worst I've ever seen, but they've got the run of the wing. Adding some drugs, some booze, allegedly. Yeah, allegedly some foreign nationals were on the booze. You know, probably got it left over from Christmas. So you've got some lads pissed up, some on drugs, all kicking off. On that wing, they will be vulnerable prisoners. They are on every wing. I'm not talking about sex offenders. I'm talking about people on acted documents. Assessment, care in custody and teamwork. The suicide and self-harm. So imagine you've got some self-harmers on there. It's kicking off. Mini riot. You're going to be terrified. Boom. Lads are going to be cutting up. Slashing. Yeah. Which, it happens. Then maybe add in a young offenders. Maybe there's some young offenders on there, allegedly. Yeah, mini riot, 7 or 8 hours chaos, nationals come, everyone gets organised, and then peaceful ending, they all surrendered. That happens quite often, that. You know, you've had your fun, you've run around, you've protested, mini riot, chuck some stuff on the netting, had some wacky backy, some spice, had some booze, emptied your lungs, you're feeling a bit tired, surrender, because what you don't want to be doing is fighting with the nationals. So I'll tell you now, there'll be no messing. If they had to send tornado teams into a situation like that, adrenaline pumping and that, you're going to get smashed. You're going to get bashed with shields, bent up, put in cuffs, dragged off. I've seen it, I saw it at Strangeways. I'll talk about that one. I'll talk about that one another day. But yeah, they surrendered peacefully. And like I said, a budding journalist put it on TikTok. I've seen it. So I'm going to talk about it, because the thing is, you know, the staff in that jail have to go back on that wing after with the same lads and deal with it. Yeah? Your arse would be going, it'd be twitching. Chaos. The other thing that needs mentioning again, because it's cropping up every day now when I speak to people, is young staff or old staff or any staff male or female, lads or lasses, men or women, who aren't prepared to get involved. If you are recruiting people, yeah, who are going to carry a set of keys, a radio, maybe some cuffs, maybe some parva, and just stand around gossiping while your mates are getting battered, they're not the people for the job. If you're in the job now, yeah, and you're one of them people I'm talking about, I'm not disrespecting you, you're in the wrong job. If you're not going to help your mates, you're in the wrong job, because one day your mate's going to get battered and you're going to be stood watching, yeah, and then they're going to look at you, yeah, maybe drag you in a cell and batter you or do worse. That's a fact. Time to change recruitment, yeah, and training. The CNR part of the training, control and restraint, where you learn, you know, to take prisoners down, pretty real. When I was doing it, it was pretty real. You come out bruised and battered. Yeah, and everyone had to get in and pass it. Not everyone passed it on my course. And that was 17 years ago. People failed, still went into the job. That part needs to be tough. If they're not up to it, you don't want to go into a cell where I'm stood there with a baseball bat or something, threatening to knock your head off because you're scared. Then you shouldn't be in the job. The prison service need to look at who they're recruiting. They need to look at the training. Incidentally, anyone from Wandsworth Prison Service Headquarters like to come on the channel, talk about this alleged incident that I viewed on TikTok, please do. Anyone who thinks I'm out of order, anyone who thinks they're into staffing crisis, anyone who thinks it's okay to walk around with keys, parva, cuffs and a baton and maybe a stud vest in the future and not help your mates, come on the channel. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I don't know where the boy is. Beautiful day. Like I say, my hands are freezing. Stephen, come here. I'm going to be vlogging tomorrow. Well, hopefully tomorrow I'll have a video up. If I am, there'll be a decent length vlog. I'm going to put one on Saturday because there's something else I want to talk about. And Sunday, definitely long content. I'm back on it now. Like I say, I'm going back to work. I don't need to talk about that, but it will limit time to do this channel. I'm super excited this year. There's a lot of people, yeah, last year I've lost contact with. If you want to come on the channel still, or you just want to talk to me. You want to come on the channel, email in all the descriptions. If you don't know how to send an email, get someone to do it for you. All right. Hope you're all having the best day possible. Thanks for everyone who supported the channel. Parting shot. How we doing, kid? You are a beautiful boy. Cheers, guys. Thanks for coming. I'll see you.